small increment, like what you're doing that day might feel like nothing, but if you keep doing it every single day, what the end result's gonna be, it all adds up.
All I need is an opportunity, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
They weren't happy with 3 practices a week and batting cages. They wanted more, and that was the last time I coached, actually.
When you look across like your kids, like there's one of them that you can push really hard.
My goal for this season is for your kids to learn some fundamentals and have enough fun that they want to come back and play next season.
Yeah.
If they don't want it and you make them hate the sport at a young age, they're not going to want it.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Born to Tint with the Miller Brothers. Excited to be here again with my brother and co-host, Josh.
How's it going, everybody? Today we have a very special guest. We have Mana Silva, former NFL football player, played for the Baltimore Ravens, Dallas Cowboys, and the Buffalo Bills. We ran into each other at WealthCon, a real estate business event a couple weeks ago. Had a really good conversation. Really enjoyed the energy and the vibe of this guy. Enjoy this conversation. We kind of go all over the place. We talk about real estate, how work ethic in sports translates to business and life. Check it out and make sure you subscribe. Thank you. How did you develop that mindset at a young age? Because I know in high school I wasn't there. Did you have mentors in your life, or like how did you get there? Because I know I saw a video of you talking about working out every morning and running every night throughout high school to make it to the NFL. Like, where was that?
That came from my dad.
Okay.
So just my dad pushed me. So looking at all of my siblings, he probably pushed me the hardest. I'm not sure if what he saw made him made that decision, but yeah, I was the one to get pushed the hardest. So.
And for you, was that like something that you were like bought into, or was it?
Yeah, I think when you look across your kids, there's one of them that you can push really hard.
Yeah.
And then there's the other one that doesn't want to do anything.
I can relate to that.
Yeah.
I can relate to that.
And then there's the one that is in the middle of that whole spectrum. And I was the one this is the kid you got to push. And then just pushed. That was it. A lot of dads try to push all their kids the same way, but
yeah,
it doesn't work that way. And then then he just breaks relationships and tries to create things that doesn't work.
Yeah,
I see that a lot. You can look at youth sports all the time. It's that same way. You're breaking your kid already.
Oh, I can't. It's
with
his kids hitting youth sports, because I have one kid. He's a 5-year-old, and I've decided me and my wife decided we're only having one kid. Mm-hmm. But watching his kids get into youth sports when they were younger, going to sit in the stands, I finally understood why a group of parents stood out in the outfield, and that's going to be me, because sitting in the stands, you've got I think Brooke or London was 8 years old. A co-ed league, and that's strike 3, that person's out. I'm like, what are you talking about?
So I had her play baseball one season at one of the little leagues here in town that at the time was their 12-year-old team was making it to Little League World Series.
Okay.
So everybody that was going to this league is also playing travel ball and crazy. And so we're talking coach pitch.
Yeah.
7 and 8-year-olds, 6, 7, and 8-year-olds. And, they weren't happy with 3 practices a week and batting cages. They wanted more. And there's that was the last time I coached, actually. Yeah. I had to be look, my goal for this season is for your kids to learn some fundamentals and have enough fun that they want to come back and play next season.
Yeah.
It's cool to win. But right now at this age, that should be everybody here's goal, not complete domination. I get it. You want your kid to be the next Bryce Harper or whatever, right? But if they don't want it and you make them hate the sport at a young age, they're not going to want it.
That's my biggest thing is that age. It's that's when you get your child to fall in love with the sport. Yeah. And then understand what they kind of can get from it when it comes down to it. I mean, that's how I look at it now. I didn't realize, obviously, when I was younger. But looking at it now, it's just you want your kid to fall in love with this. You're going to make them hate the living hell out of it, or you're going to make other kids hate it because you're being you're being so over the top with your child. The other kids are yeah, I'm good. No, thank you. And it's what they can benefit from sports. the things I draw from sports now are what thankfully my dad pushed us into sports, and I only wish he would have pushed us into more than one sport. Like he kept us in baseball and just caught us like strictly in baseball. I'm gonna try to I'm gonna try to present my son with all the different options and let him dabble and let him figure out what he enjoys doing and just let him do everything. Because what you can draw from sports is the life lessons. They are invaluable. Teamwork, working together, and like, you know, it's not just about you when it comes down to it. Like that's how the team succeeds. And then like, I mean, work ethic. I mean, there's a laundry list of things that get drawn from sports.
Yeah, just the knowledge, knowing that you can learn to get better at something. And you know, if you stick to it, you see the progress 2-3 years later. Like, oh, I couldn't hit a ball if my life depended on it. Now I'm smashing it, or catching a ball, or intercepting a ball, whatever it might be. Like if you actually stick with it and you care about it, you see the progress. Now, what other things in the rest of your life can you go learn to get better at? Finances, real estate, window tint, whatever it might be. You can take that and bring it to anything. That's something I've actually done with my kids, is try everything. Let's do everything. We're a baseball, softball house, so my daughter has played a lot of softball, but at any point in time, if like for 2 years, my younger daughter stopped playing softball and did only jiu-jitsu because that's what she wanted to do at the time. Now she's back to softball because that's what she wants, and is finally playing travel ball, and she's completely dove into it. Like, all right, cool, I'll take you to as many tournaments as you want to go to. My older one played softball. She made varsity softball and cross country her freshman year last year. And coming into the softball season this season, she was like kind of hesitant to be like, I think I'm gonna do track instead of softball. Like, cool. Like, I don't care. Like, if that's what you want to do it. I'm not trying to say you have to play softball forever. Like, if you love to run, which you clearly do, do track. That's cool. Awesome. How many kids do you have?
I got too many.
Too many.
Nah, I got 4 kids.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I'm on 5.
He's the winner
So.
on this
Oh,
one.
there you
All
go.
right.
Yeah. All right. What's the age range?
I got a freshman in high school, and then I got a 2-year-old.
Oh, wow. That's pretty close. I have a sophomore down to a 2-year-old.
Yeah. So, yeah. But on the topic of like my dad, like he pushed me in baseball. So my second son, his name is Jeter.
Okay.
So
awesome.
yeah, we do baseball. Like,
okay.
So, but he pushed me all like from at a young age, like how you guys are sharing, and then I broke down in baseball. So a lot of people don't know this, like, but I played baseball is our first love, and then something happened in football. I was like, oh, this football thing's pretty cool, because you don't play football until about 12 years old.
Yeah.
And in baseball, you start about 5 years old.
Yeah.
And then all those years of doing baseball, I was like, Dad, I'm done at baseball. And when it came to draft day, both the Boston Red Sox and the Yankees called. I turned them both down. And people think it's crazy, but I turned them both down. I was like, I'm doing football. My dad was like, okay, then. Let's do football then. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to play baseball. So, and I played baseball with, he's a coach with, our second baseman is a coach with Cleveland Indians now.
Oh, wow.
And then our catcher was Colton Wong, who's the second baseman, and he's with the Dodgers, and he's been with Cardinals, like, and we're all on the same team, and we all grew up together.
Oh, that's killer.
And then like from this little small community called Hilo in Hawaii, and we do baseball. So
oh, that was our entire childhood. Man. Baseball was the passion.
No, I'm actually fairly certain I had Colton Wong on my fantasy baseball team at certain points last year. I'm actually 100% certain about that, because I have me and my buddies that we've been baseball family. All my close friends, we either played baseball together or against each other growing up, and they talked me into a fantasy baseball league, which I reluctantly do every year, because it's fun to just connect with my buddies, but also got me back into like the real trenches of baseball again. Yeah. Because when you're doing daily fantasy baseball, you have to actually really pay attention what the hell's going on in baseball. And we had a 14-team league, so it was. I've went through it, like as soon as you said Colton Wong, I'm like, I had on my fantasy baseball team. That's hilarious. No, that's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. No, baseball's definitely been a huge sticking point for us in our lives. And I would say definitely the that was the one thing I wish I would have had a different outlet, because I felt the same thing in baseball. It's only downfall of baseball in my eyes. You start at 5. By the time you get to the travel ball age, it's either, not to say you get sick of it, but you can get burnt out because it just never stops.
Yeah, we saw it with our sister. Our sister,
Yeah,
she was the best one. Like, she was the middle, and she was all-state pitcher. All 4 years of high school out here with like a .5 ERA or something ridiculous.
Oh, wow.
She had every big college in the country trying to get her.
Wow.
And by her junior year, she was still playing and killing it all the way through her senior year. But by her junior year, she was telling the recruiter, stop talking to me. I'm not playing college softball. Wow. And she was just burnt out from all the travel ball and the constant of it.
Yeah.
And it probably didn't help that there's nothing to go on to after that. Like, she was just like, I'm just going to go to college and go to college.
That's where I pushed back on her when I knew in high school and told her, like, like, I understand, like, going to play something that you necessarily not wanting to play, but she was getting letters from Columbia. Like, they were trying to recruit her. I'm like, go get that education. What do you, like, pass the softball. Yeah, you're not going to do anything with that past that, but that education is going to be invaluable. So, but, you know, she decided to stay and eventually made her way back into the business that she said that she never wanted to be a part of. And now we run the business together, all 3 of us.
There you go. It's crazy how life works out, though.
Oh, it's, you know what? The funny part is, if my dad, if he had a vision in his head, he always wanted us, all 3 of us, to run the business. And then growing up, it was pretty out there. Like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm not saying I stuck around, but like, I was here. I never left the shop. He ended up joining the military for a little bit, taking a little bit of a breather away from my dad, which I think was needed in both parts.
Yeah, I needed to grow up.
Well,
Got it.
well, and then also which I mean, call my dad out a teeny bit when it came down to it. He needed to grow as, I mean, it sounds horrible, I might be saying this, but as a, I guess, growing a small business into getting bigger and leading into a bigger group of people. My dad, unfortunately, was a terrible micromanager. Like, I was the one who was able to deal with him. To where, like, we definitely got into it. There were numerous times that we got into it where, like, I wanted to walk and, like, yeah, I'm out. Like, I can't. Like, if you can't trust me to do something, like, you're the one who's trained me. You're the one who has taught me this stuff, and yet I go to do it, and you're still questioning it. Like, what are we doing here? Yeah, but then, like, after he went, joined, came back, and then we ended up opening up a shop in Texas for a little bit. He ran that store down there for a bit, and then the opportunity came to where, like, my parents came to me and said, "Hey, he's gonna come back out here. What do you think?" I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely. Are you kidding me? I'm bringing someone back into the business that I know I can 100% trust, to where it's like, if I need something done or something has to get done within the company, and it's as if I'm doing it or as if my dad's doing it, like, no brainer.
Yeah,
absolutely." And the same thing happened with my sister. She was working a corporate job. Was pregnant with her first kid, told them, like, hey, like, I can come in like 3 days a week, and the other 2 days I'll work from home, and they were cool with that. And then when it started to happen, coworkers weren't cool with it. So they were like, yeah, you can't do this. And she's like, well, I'm out of here. And same thing, my parents came to us and was like, hey, your sister, what do you think about your sister? And I was like, absolutely, she can handle all the stuff I don't want to do. Or not say don't want to deal with that.
That's true.
Okay. Okay, that's true. Like,
paperwork.
Back end, coming up with the budget and helping with all that other stuff. Like, I'm an operator. Like, I want to give me the tint job, give me the project that we need to get done. I want to figure out how we're going to get it done most efficiently, say with the best, saving the most amount of material, all that stuff, and get it done correctly. Like, that's what I'm good at. And I would say we're both on the same. Like, we're both
there you go.
Hands on. All that stuff in the background, like, even when it comes to stuff like this, the podcast, the marketing, he's been hounding me for 2 years, probably.
Yeah, probably longer.
That we should be doing something like this. And then the opportunity finally came for us to, like, fast track it to where we could partner with someone who could help us do it without having to put the work in of setting up a studio, finding editors, finding all the other stuff that had to be done, and just hop straight into it. And I was like, okay, let's do it. Nice. And it's been a fun ride so far.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's even how we met. Met at WealthCon. Had a decent little conversation, and we talked about the podcast, and you were like, "Dude, let me know. I want to come on."
So the wave types I've gotten is that you've played for that. You played in the NFL, which by that's awesome. I guess that's crazy as hell. Like, one question I kind of had was obviously the work ethic to get into the NFL is, like, in my eyes, dude, you're like 0.01% of people out there like that understand what that takes. How did that translate into business for you?
I'll start with my kids. They hate Home Depot. They absolutely hate Home Depot. So like I share that because I was at Home Depot, the first into Home Depot, and I'd be at Home Depot, the last to leave Home Depot. And that is like years on end. So, and I would just push and push. And it's crazy because someone commented in one of my posts yesterday that I remember this guy from 8 years ago that he went on to a different job, but he was a work at Home Depot. He's like, this guy would always be in Home Depot. And that's how I just conducted sports the same way. It's like you go first one in and last one to leave. And that same mentality that was used growing up is the same thing. Like I would always run after practice, and I'd always be the first at practice and put work before and after.
Yeah.
And then you put all of that together, it's like, there ain't no way like another kid is going to beat me in T-ball today. Like there's no one going to beat me in coach pitch today. And then that confidence just like continues to grow, and then you go into high school, it's like, there's no way you're going to tackle me today or get away. So it's the same thing with business. It's like we just put in multiple hours extra than everyone else, and then like you go into competition with someone else, you're going to smash whoever.
It's almost like Kobe, Mamba mentality.
Yeah.
Same thing. Like I would say growing up, I didn't care for I still don't care for the Lakers when it comes down to it. But even for technically Kobe, I didn't understand him until unfortunately it got to a point where I obviously later in life understood his message. And then unfortunately his passing, I think, robbed multiple generations of an amazing leader and mentor. But thankfully some of his stuff had been captured, him talking and starting to go around and talk about his work ethic, his mentality, the fact like I'm up at 4 a.m. I've already trained. I'm trained twice before you've even got to the gym. Like after a couple of years, there's no chance you're ever going to catch me. There's just no possibility. I'm just going to outwork you on every aspect. And finally understanding that for me later in life is realizing like, okay, that makes sense. It's all about putting the time in almost anything. Like, you know, I've gotten into later now, like past 3 or 4 years, I got into ultra running, and now I'm doing ultra marathons. And like when I first did my first one, like I had the expectation of where I wanted to go, and then I did it, and then realized like, oh, this is
it's an animal.
There's levels to this.
Yeah, there's levels to this, and obviously there's levels to everything. And then like sitting back and thinking about it, like the people that I'm following, like, well, this guy's been running since he was 10 years old. He's got 2 decades on me in running, and that's why he's at the spot he's at, and it hasn't stopped going. I mean, even when it comes, David Goggins, another person I follow, like he's one of the main reasons I kind of got into ultra running. Because I only wanted to do marathons to begin with. And then after doing a marathon and then noticing other people going back out for further distances, I was intrigued. I wanted to know what that pain felt like. So then I tripped down that rabbit hole, and just it spiraled into now it's just like I have one long run I do every year that I train for. Cool. And then, you know, my end goal is to get to a certain race that I have to qualify to get into. And beyond that, there's just other races I want to do now too, to where it's just like hopefully will never hit a point where it's like, oh, I've hit all my goals. I want to just kind of keep that going, but it's about putting the time in. Restructuring my training, like got to get up and got to train. Like you have to get it in. Like you have to put the time in. That's the only way you're going to get better. You know, so it's definitely opened my eyes.
Yeah, no, and then it translates to business for sure. Like you raise your expectations and your goals and your limits of what you even think is possible, rather than being like fixed mindset of like, well, I don't know how to tint this type of window. I guess I'll never know. Or let's figure this out, learn how to do it. All right, get better at it, get better, improve. Okay, cool. Now it's no problem at all. Whatever the obstacle might be, I can learn a skill and get better at it. And if I put in the work over and over and over and over again, I'm gonna, I don't want to say master it, but it's gonna become second nature. Whether it's knowing a coverage or whatever, like you don't even have to think about it, right? Like once you've done it enough times, you know exactly what's about to happen, right? just build that muscle memory in everything in life, right?
That's why like a lot of kids now in sports and with social media that they try to put out there, like they're grinders and whatnot. But it's like, can you be consistent for years on end of doing the same thing every day, and then having that all compound into the result at the end of the season or whoever you become as an athlete?
Yeah, man, I don't know where I saw it. I hope I didn't see it on your Instagram. Well, maybe that'd be funny. I just seen this like a day ago. The story of a bamboo, growing bamboo.
Oh,
Like
I know about that story.
Yeah, so like if you want to grow bamboo, this specific type of bamboo, you've got to water and fertilize it every single day.
Yeah.
For 5 years, and it doesn't grow at all. If you miss one day, it's not gonna grow. But then when it sprouts up in the matter of like 3 days, it goes like 90 feet tall. So it's day in, day out. You have to nurture this thing and water and fertilize it.
That's a good post, though.
But it's like that's what it takes.
Yeah.
You might not see the results. The results are going to be so incremental, but over time they're going to compound, and eventually you're going to look back 5-10 years later and go, oh, all right, here we go. Yeah. But you don't see it in the grind day to day, and most people give up before they get to that 5th year. You miss one day, right? Like
consistency is key.
The focus should be on the work, not the result.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's what young athletes should know. Focus on the work.
Learn to enjoy the work.
And everything also. Well, shoot, I hated the work. But
yeah.
I hated the work, but, you got to embrace the grind,
Yeah.
So that's what it's about, like just focusing on every day waking up before everyone else and running. Or going in the cold tub every morning. Like, it's the same principle.
Yeah, you're not immediately going to be the best in the world overnight because you did that thing. But if you consistently, that's the one thing that I really like hammering home with my oldest, that she's the one who actually takes it, is consistency over everything else. Like, don't go out there today and run harder than you know you're supposed to for this training run. Like, this is supposed to be a low effort recovery run, zone 2. Don't get caught up trying to race your friends because they're trying to race you, and like save the racing for the races. And keep yourself healthy by being consistent. And that consistency over time is what's going to build you up. Like, I think she's averaging 35 miles a week. And if you look at her Strava, it's like pretty damn consistent. Like, all right, that's the most important thing. I don't care that the other people on there are running faster times than you. That doesn't matter. Like, they're also more likely to get injured now too. So nice and slow, steady, just be consistent with it.
And I always tell my son, like, 1% better every day.
Yep.
Like, don't look for like massive gains and massive jumps. Just get a little bit better every day. If you can get a little bit better, in 100 days, you'll be 100% better than you was 100 days ago. Yeah. I think that's the main focus.
That's definitely something I did not grasp the concept of that until later in life. Was that it's just the small increment, like what you're doing that day might feel like nothing, but if you keep doing it every single day, what the end result's going to be, it all adds up. Adds up by the end of the day or by the end of the year or end of the training block, wherever it is. It's like from your start to your finish. As long as you are consistent and you're not overdoing it just because you think I feel good right now, I'm just going to go for it. It's like now you're risking injury. Now say you get injured. Now you just miss time. That's time you can't get back. Time, like, again, going back to Kobe, that breakdown of how he broke down, how he trains, and how it's like you've got no shot of ever catching me, and I'm going to make sure of that because I'm going to stay consistent. I'm going to do that. I will have 2 workouts in before you do anything. You've got, doesn't matter how talented or anything else, you've got no shot of catching that. You really don't. Especially when you have someone who was as talented as he was. You really have got no shot of catching that with that kind of work ethic. You just don't. I did not understand his personality while he was playing until later on, realizing like, oh, okay, that makes complete sense. That makes complete sense. So
it's honestly too though, like as tragic as the Kobe story is, because I didn't realize a lot about him until after he died. Like all the clips that went around after he died. Made a big impact on me, and I'm a grown man, so I can't imagine if I was a younger teenager or young kid to get exposed to that at a young age, like how much could that help somebody? And the fact that we have, like, this is the positive side of social media, podcasts, Instagram, all that stuff in my mind is 20 years ago, if you didn't grow up in the right household with the right father figure or coach or whoever that was that person that was there to drive you and teach you these things, like, and you just weren't exposed to it, like, oh, well, you're not going to learn how to have that kind of mindset. Now you can live anywhere. Everybody has access to the internet and YouTube and these things, and you might accidentally come across one reel of Kobe giving a speech about his work ethic and that might connect the dot for some kid who doesn't have that kind of influence directly in their social circle that actually makes them realize, like, oh, all right, I'm gonna get after it. And like, how much does that change people for the better? Like, and that's why I like seeing people sharing positive stories like that. Like looking at your Instagram, like it's a lot of really positive, motivational stories of lessons that you've learned in it. I love that kind of stuff because even if it helps one person, like, you know, that could be the next Kobe, right? Like then they're gonna go on and influence 1 million people, or even just one or two more. Like that's how you really affect change. And I can see. Looking at you on social, a big thing for you is Hawaii and staying connected with what's going on there. Is there, like, I know I've seen you share stuff recently. Is there anything going on there, like, as far as what you've been doing real estate-wise or things that people should know that would be good for our audience to know?
Yeah, like as far as Hawaii is becoming, as far as the local residents there, all the local residents are getting pushed out, just based off affordability. So across the whole board, which is 8 main islands, all of the islands are becoming unaffordable. And so all the locals have to now move to the mainland. And what we're trying to do as far as real estate in that regard is only sell to local people. So if you're a local family and you want a home in Hawaii, then we can provide you that. And that was like my main goal 5 years ago. As far as I started in real estate maybe about 12 years ago, and then 5 years ago I made the decision to stop selling to outside people and only sell to locals. And I think if you're gonna be in real estate and you want to have an impact, then that's the type of impact I wanted to have. Because I could do real estate and make, you know, whatever money I wanted to make. But then I was looking at it and I was like, I need to make this decision to help my people because that's what our people need. And then I just went all in on that. And then this year we're trying to go like scale it and take it to another level. So
because of what's happening, I'm assuming, is that people are coming in, buying it, tearing down, and then building something, and then that just raises the price of everything. That just raises the property tax to the roof. So now it's at a point where the person who's been there for generation after generation after generation now can't even afford to be there. Yeah, that's crazy.
And then like for the local people, as far as like Hawaii, the people are deeply rooted and connected to the place that they come from. And you can say that across like communities, but in Hawaii, there's like a real specialness to that connection as far as like land and being intertwined with the family. The family is very important in Hawaii.
Yeah.
So when that aspect of breaking up as a family, of one family member has to go to the mainland, it just like tears the fabric of the entire community and family unit as a whole. Because in Hawaii, everyone has Sunday night dinners and gathers, and you know, just it's special there. And that's what makes it special, because of the people. And then when that gets broken up by families moving out, it's hard. And once you leave Hawaii, as far as like families coming to Vegas or California or whatever, they ain't going back, because there's no home for them. So if they ain't going back, then that whole lineage is just disrupted from that point on.
Wow, I've never thought of that, because that's actually like Vegas being the ninth island,
Correct.
I've always like thought of it as like a cool, awesome thing. Like awesome Hawaiians like to come here. This is the ninth island.
Yeah.
But like that kind of shifts it for me a little bit. Like if they have to come here, like that's actually kind of sad also.
Yeah, they're the Hawaiians coming here for the most part, and for the most part is because of that reason. It's like they could no longer can live in Hawaii. It's not sustainable.
And cost of
for
living
their
so much
family.
better here.
You just come to Vegas.
Yeah.
And then we got other social issues as far as gambling. So that's like a whole other issue. But as far as across all our families, that's what's happening.
Wow.
You just get pressed into a corner. It's like either you're going to stay or you're going to leave or you become homeless and houseless in your own home.
Wow. So I know you've had some success building there and finding areas that you can do that in. Something I seen actually right around the time of WealthCon, you're doing some like more affordable kind of like tiny home kind of thing.
Yeah, I was considering that for a little bit, like tiny homes, but I'm just focusing on purely 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes.
Okay.
For entire family unit too.
Okay.
Because on the tiny home part was when I was trying to break it down, it's like I can only service like 1 or 2 people in a tiny home, like in actuality. But if I'm trying to help families, then it wouldn't serve that purpose.
It'd have to be like a village of tiny homes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. That's something I've been interested in. Just, you know, the YouTube awareness of like tiny home movement and stuff is something I've always kind of been interested in because I feel like if you can live more minimally, you can reduce those costs of living and you can live places that are.
Yeah. I think America's heading that way though.
Yeah.
Like I know in Texas, they're trying to like really push that as far as tiny home communities now.
Yeah.
And because ain't nobody affording America anymore.
Oh no, I got lucky in the fact that like I was being in a small business and being able to have a career at the young age that I was at. Like I came out of high school and I already had the skills of being an installer and everything that would have taken from an 18-year-old to up to like mid-20s to get to a point of actually go after something. That I was lucky enough to go after my first home when I was 20 years old.
Nice.
And that's all credit to my dad. And if I actually would have really listened to my dad with my spending, I'd probably be even that much more better off. But I was young, dumb, and wanted a stereo in my car. So
I don't want to go there. Some lessons you got to learn on your own. But I've gone back and looked at money I've blown, especially when I was younger, and been like, man, if I just like some Amazon stock or some Apple stock or man, Bitcoin was how much when I spent how much on what? Like,
so like I was lucky enough to buy a house and it was 2010. So that was just after the market crash, a couple years after. And at that time, they weren't just like giving homes away, but they were technically trying to give homes away, just trying to make any kind of sell. I was able to buy a home then. And then me and my wife, we sold in 2017.
Oh, nice.
So in 2017, we were able to kind of literally thread the needle, thankfully, that's when the market was starting to go up, put our house on the market, made a good return on it, but we're able to actually get into a house to where by the time I signed and by the time I closed, it went up 4 points. So just me not even being in my house, I already went up 4. And then the community that I picked, when they explained it to me, it was a 3-part community, which the front part of it, not gated. Our back part's gated, and there's like 50 homes. Okay. The back section of the community is all pool-sized lots, and the front side of the community was just like you could get a pool-sized lot depending on which lot you picked, but there was like a $40,000 difference in the homes. Exact same houses. The only difference was like you were in the back side of the community, you're in the front side of the community. So in my eyes, I was like, so if I buy this house here and the house back there sells, that's the comp I'm getting. Like, yeah, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
So pretty much what you're telling me is I'm going to get an instant 40 grand as soon as one person sells in the back. Like, awesome, perfect. Was able to get into that house, and then I gambled a little bit in the fact that like I put minimal down. I think I put down 5%. Yeah. Because in my mind I was like I saw the market where it was going, and like I'd already gained a couple percent, and then all of a sudden if all I need is one person in the back to sell, I'm gonna refi in 6 months from now, and there's my 20%. There goes my mortgage insurance, and thankfully I was able to play that game, and it ended up working out for me. But like right now, there's no chance in hell that I could buy my house in the neighborhood I live in now. There's no chance. Interest rates it'd be impossible. But with what the value of my house like doubled in value from 18 to now. I'm like, okay, like it makes zero sense. I'm happy about it, but at the same time, it's like it was getting to a point where it's like at any point I'm okay with the market taking a 15%, 20% hit right now because I'm still up 30%. It makes no sense. I don't want that to happen because that means our economy's in shambles and that's not good for business. But I got very lucky of getting in at the right time because I mean I had a buddy who moved out of Vegas because they couldn't. He's recently married a couple of years and like they were looking and it's like trying to find anything right now in Vegas that's not astronomical when it comes down to it and actually be something that you feel like, okay, this is worth it. Like I can afford this. Like I couldn't imagine trying to buy a home right now. Yeah. Like I got very lucky. And I mean, I'm assuming that's like times 10 when it comes to Hawaii. Yeah. Trying to find anything there and then let alone the cost of everything there has got to be.
That's true because in Hawaii when I bought my first lot in that subdivision that we build and sell houses, it was 18,000. Now that area, the lot, just the land itself is 100,000. The first house that we sold was 190,000. I sold it in 2013 or 14, and now it's like 450,000. Like that's why back then I used to like, hey, buy a house now, and people like, man, you're always trying to sell your houses. I'm like, no, I'm trying to tell you to buy it because in 10 years from now, it's going to be a whole different game. They're like, nah, you're just trying to sell the house. I'm like, and all the people that did buy a house, they love me. Like, they love me now. Like,
yeah, the housing market's interesting, especially because we still have 2008 in our like mindset. So I think more people are more prepared than ever, which is helping the market be stronger. You don't have people that owe way more on their home than it's worth. So the market's just so much stronger now than it was. And you've got all the big funds like BlackRock's and all of them buying up and owning stuff to rent it out. So it seems so much more stable. It's like the best day to buy a home, I feel, in America was yesterday, right? Like even there might be some small little short-term corrections with the interest rates going up, but I'm not a real estate expert, but as much as they raised interest rates in the last, year and a half, 2 years, the fact that we haven't seen prices like drastically decline and rates might be going down right now, like is a sign that the market's probably a lot healthier than people realize, especially when you look at what inventory is available. It just seems like a no-brainer to own in my mind. Like, I don't know why you wouldn't.
That's why I think, I don't know much, but when the interest rates go down a little bit and everyone that was on the sidelines in 2023 jumps back into the game, it's over for the regular person. Like,
oh, yeah.
So there'll be bidding wars like right back again because people are itching to get back in to real estate. And once those interest rates look fine enough, then prices are going to go up in America again.
Oh, yeah.
That's where I'll be stuck. I love my home. Like, I got lucky. I found a house, the layout, everything about my home is, like, I don't know, it would take an obscene amount of money for me to get out of my house just because I feel like I have the right amount of room. I have all the things I've ever kind of wanted in my home, layout-wise and all that. But I couldn't imagine trying to get buy a home right now. Yeah. It's you're just going to take what you got, like what's presented to you, what's available, and let alone the interest rates right now.
Which
that's another reason why I know.
Historically, they're really not that bad. Yeah, we just had it so good.
Yeah. That's another reason why I'm never moving or ever selling the house. Yeah. I mean, I was able to get 2.875. Yeah. I'll never see that again. Yeah. Like keep that thing right there and I'm staying exactly where I'm at. Never going anywhere. That's like I said, as many reasons I could never buy the home I'm in right now. If I were to jack my interest rate to what it is at the moment, I'm priced out. I can't afford it. Like, there's no way in hell I could afford it. Yeah. And I can imagine that happening almost to every neighborhood and every house because now you're taking a house that, $200,000 house that most people could afford. Now you just slap 8% interest on there, and now it's like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah,
What made you want to get into real estate from did you transition from professional sports to straight to real estate, or how did that play out?
So, you know, the everyone talks about like what they get into as far as ventures
Yeah.
in the locker room, and it's usually nonsense. so like for the most part, it's usually nonsense. It's like a steakhouse, and I don't know, just bad businesses. So guys are talking about real estate, and then, that's how I jumped into real estate.
Yeah.
And went home and bought my first property, and been doing that ever since. So
Nice.
yeah.
And so you've got siblings that also are in real estate?
Yeah. So I got all of us are in real estate.
Okay.
So I was the.
Did you like convert them, or were they already in it, or?
Yeah, I was. I started. I took all the hits. From real estate, all the punches to the gut, and then they're like, "I think we can do this too." And then I taught them real estate, and then the little that I did know, and they took it and ran with it. So, and now we're all do real estate.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Are they mainly doing it in Hawaii?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all do affordable housing.
Okay.
Yeah. So
That's cool. So you guys are definitely. I mean, it's not just you on your own trying to attack the problem. You got a little squad.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So yeah, we got our little empire in Hawaii, and then my mom is getting into real estate too. So
That's awesome.
this year, and
Well, so that actually led me into another question I had. May 9th, 2021.
21
Yeah.
with my mom.
Yeah. It's such a cool story, man.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know, I just want to hear your version. I've seen the video, but amazing. Like,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, that was a special time. Our sister approached me and my brother about helping take care of our mom, because that was always our goal, as far as, because we grew up just like a lot of other kids. Grew up poor, and we had a rich mindset though. So we grew up poor in a poor community, surrounded by drug houses. We had 4 drug busts like in our neighborhood, and when one drug bust went down, it would say pharmacy closed. Like, that's the type of neighborhood we grew up in, and so we wanted to take care of our mom, and we made the decision to pay off our mortgage, and she would never have to pay, because we moved from Oahu, which is the main island, to the Big Island, and we moved when I was 4 years old, and then my brother was a baby, and then my sister was 8 years old. And my father at the time was going through drugs and alcohol, and he had his own situation going on. So we were a broken family. So we're a broken family. We moved to Big Island on our own. My mom raised us as a single mother, and then my dad eventually came back into the picture. And then all of that, like all that we went through, was like just culminated to that one moment. And I think it was special for anyone who watches the video.
Yeah.
Because to do that from where we came from, it's unheard of though.
Yeah, no, I can only imagine. Like,
Yeah.
I know that's a big part of our ambition with growing this business. Our parents started it, and I don't want my mom or my dad to worry about finances ever again. And when we can actually secure that to be a thing where it's just like they just get to enjoy the grandkids and be on vacation and do whatever they want to do, I can't imagine how good that's gonna feel.
Yeah.
Like,
That's the thing. Like, people share, like, they want to take care of their parents or do this in life and do that. It's like, but on our end, as far as like her kids and her children, it's like we did it.
yeah,
Like, and nobody can take away that moment from any of us.
yeah,
And that's what it's about, is just doing it.
yeah.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool though.
No, man,
Yeah.
That video like stood out to me. It had me
Yeah.
like choked up. Like, oh, this is awesome, man.
Well,
Like,
no, it definitely brings to light, like he was saying, like that's our big drive right now for us trying to keep growing our business. Is we want to carry our dad's legacy on with what he built within the company. But yeah, I want to get to the point where we can do that for our parents. Like if we get the company to a point where either it's just the size to what we're making, or if we were to ever, someone comes with an offer and purchase, whatever it would be, whatever, if that opportunity ever presents itself, I'm going to jump at it because of the sacrifices they made for us growing up. Like I'm looking back at it now, I don't know how they did it. Like, and just like, I mean, I got one kid and it's already like expensive enough. There was 3 of us. They put all 3 of us through sports constantly. And like the things that they would do, and I would imagine the stress my dad was probably going through, probably more likely overspending and overstretching himself, most definitely, and putting us in the things they put us in, but realizing that he needed to do that for us, or he was providing that for us, and what the payoff would be in the long run. I look forward to the day if I'm able to pull that off. I look forward to that day because like I don't want them to worry about the stresses of money or any of that, because growing up we've seen it through their faces, and like we've been through certain situations and stuff to where it's like to be able to provide that, and like watching that video is just like it's one of those things where like watching it, it's like I'm sitting there like trying to hold back, and it's like, fuck, man, this is
Or on that though, like as far as my mom now, I don't know, she thinks she's like a traveler now. But I love it though, because she can enjoy her life with my dad, and they go all over the place, and just supporting, like my nephew's at University of Oregon. He plays football now.
Oh, nice.
And then my son, freshman is actually in California. So he plays football at a top program there.
Okay.
So they get to go like whenever they want to. Like they can choose that. Like if you want to go here, you want to go there. Like, and growing up, so this is a great example of my mom. So growing up, we'd always go to like McDonald's after church. So we go to McDonald's and she would never eat. And I used to always wonder, like, why doesn't she eat? Why doesn't she eat? Because we didn't have enough to eat, like, for her on her side. And she and that was like our whole life. Like even when I got into college, she would go to a restaurant and then she wouldn't eat. And I was like, what the heck is it? And then, thinking about it now, I get a little bit choked up about it because she wasn't able to, and then she didn't have like the mindset or whatever it took, and it looks small like now and I look at it, but in the grand scheme of things, it's like huge, because now she can like, I don't know, she's sending pictures of sushi dinners. I'm like, Mom, you're like spending way too much now, It's like, but just the whole 360 of how her life has like evolved as far as my mom and my dad, and seeing them reach this. I would say they're the pinnacle of their life. Yeah. And it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, no, that's amazing, man. Especially, I can feel I feel like we're the ninth island. I got tons of classmates at jiu-jitsu and friends, and like the Hawaiian food on every corner is too damn good. Like, you definitely feel that energy here, having lived in Vegas a long time, and you definitely know and understand how important family is to the Hawaiian culture if you've interacted with it at all. And it's beautiful, man. Like I think at the end of the day, for us, for sure, the family is the center of everything. I wish more people would focus on that. But at the end of the day, what I can control is my family, right? Like, so I can present that to my kids. I can learn from mistakes that my parents made and correct them or whatever, and just try to make the family better. Can I pay my parents back for the hard work they put in to assure that we, I don't think Mom was going without eating. It wasn't that extreme, but we definitely had some years early on there where it was a struggle, like on the edge of bankruptcy, but they held it together. And it's like, I try to be appreciative of that every day, and how can we pay it forward? It's definitely top of mind for me all the time. When we had our dad on, he was the first episode on here, and I don't know if you can see it in the video, as I don't think it shows me. I think it shows him, but my dad mentions that he's not worried about the business anymore, and like it took everything in me not to just tear up at that moment. Like knowing how much he had worried about it over the years, hearing him say that was just like, okay, we're on the right route. We're not fully there right now, but we're getting there. Like that was a big moment for me. Like I don't think you can see it in the video, but yeah, I was definitely fighting it back.
Yeah.
It's hearing that from him. At the moment, didn't really process it, and still, even like listen to the episode too again, listen to him say it again. It's still one of those things that it's like, at least I know that we provide that ease for him because he was definitely like, while he was in the business, a bull to deal with, like always, like, and he was always on top of checking, either looking at accounts, looking at this, that, and other. And I always wonder, like, and then I wonder, like, what, okay, like, what are we gonna do about it? And it's like, I don't know why you're stressing about it. Like, now I kind of understand it on the fact that we've actually taken on the business for the past 3 years, and it's like completely just been on top of us. Like, I get it more, but hearing him say that, no, that was definitely a big moment for me. Yeah. And it's just like the tip of the hat of knowing, like, you know, at least we listened well enough to give him that comfort.
Yeah.
And to know that, like, you know, and what we're able to provide for him, for both of them right now, is the fact of, like, you know, we got lucky in the fact that we didn't have to sit there and turn around and say, how much do you want us to buy you out of the company? It's more likely, I want you guys to take paychecks for as long as you goddamn want. I don't, what you guys have built here, this is your retirement. Yeah. This is here to support you. Yeah. I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that we can keep providing this at all times because of what sacrifices you guys have made in your life for us. Like, you know, it goes back to going back to wish I could, when knowing everything I know now and going back to when I was younger. It's not just for sports, like even for business too. Like, God, I pissed away so many years that I could have been if I would have been grinding. And when I thought I was, and God, that's a joke. Like an absolute joke to think that you're actually doing something. And then you look back at it and you're like, wow, I was putting out like maybe 20%. God damn it.
Well, and what's crazy too is I think the earlier you can learn that lesson, you see the people that end up being elite at all different things in life. The earlier you learn that lesson, it's like having a time machine, really, right? You can always make more money, but you don't get that time back, right? You squander away 5 years of opportunity to get better at something. You don't get that back.
It's like the statement, would you rather be, 80 years old and be a millionaire or be 20 years old and be dead broke? I'll be 20 and dead broke. I can make more money. I understand that now. Like, and it takes time to accumulate wealth and to be successful. And like you said, like the 1%, just be 1% better every day. That's all you can do. Stop trying to get from here to here and thinking that it's an instant thing. You got to put that work in. Look at all the people that are extremely successful and what their game plan or what their strategy was is they put the work in. Pineda, same thing. Like, it's not like all of a sudden he's just instantly was popular overnight and he's got all these things going for him. Like, if you followed him before, like he popped even on social, like dude was grinding the entire time. I mean, that's how he got into sports. I mean, with baseball, I mean, that's my eyes when you get to the fact that you were getting calls from Boston and from the Yankees, like that's crazy. Like to me, I always my love for baseball is I love all other sports, but I still think baseball is the hardest sport to play.
I think baseball teaches some of the best lessons.
Teaches you how to fail.
Because when you're hitting, it's you against the pitcher, right? You're still on a team. It's a team sport. When you're in the field, the team all matters. But it's also a game of failure. The best hitters in the world fail 7 out of 10 times. The absolute best
Hall of Famer, right?
Fail 7 out of 10 times. That's wild. Like, you're mainly failing, but yet you can be the best in the world. Like, so learning how to deal with that. Like, and I know for me, like, the older I got, the better I got at it. But, you know, young kid strikes out. What are the emotions of, you know? And eventually you learn, like, okay, I'm going to strike out. It's going to happen. The best in the world strike out. Maybe not Barry Bonds for one season, but, like, it happens, right? Like, you're dealing with failure. And how is that going to improve the rest of your life? And especially, I think, entrepreneurship. Like, you're not only learning the social aspect of it, teamwork and all of that. You're learning how to deal with failure. You're learning how to drill stuff, get the tee out, take 100 cuts. Like, nowadays, it's record it. Look at your technique. Where's there a hole in your game? Make an adjustment, do a drill, record it. Like, the opportunities are out there now to take that and That's why you're seeing all of these young kids right now that are coming up that are just smashing records left and right, whether in everything, right? Like I follow running like crazy right now because my daughter and we're into running, but I've been following like the world level of running, and at the marathon distance all the way down to like the 100-meter, records are dropping left and right. Like these young kids have the ability to. I think more people have access to the idea too, right? Like
I saw on socials that they wanted one billionaire wanted to sponsor a performance enhancing Olympics.
I think it's gonna happen. I heard something about that.
That would be.
I think it's happening.
I'm about it.
Yeah,
I totally would watch it. And then I also.
That'd be awesome.
yeah.
And also, I think they need to add both Olympics and when they do that too, they need to put a normal person. They need to put just a regular person next to those people. Let them run, and then you can understand how much of a freak athlete all those people are.
Yeah.
Because you see all of the top performers performing together, and you're like, oh, they're good. Yeah. No, put it next to a normal person. They're more than good. They're closest levels, almost godly, of what they're doing, what they're doing sprint wise in the sports they're playing. Like even when it comes to football and baseball, the same thing. Like put a normal person next to these people and what they're doing. Like, oh, it's so easy to hit. You just got to hit the little ball. Good luck, dude. Especially nowadays with baseball, with
those kids are all super athletes, man.
Like,
they're all
slow is 95.
Yeah,
the pitchers are hitting.
You gotta have velocity now.
You have to be hitting triple digits.
You can't be like Greg Maddux.
No, few and far between those pitchers exist. And then back when Maddox was pitching, like there was like what 5 guys that could hit triple digits, and it was like, oh my god, they're throwing so hard. If you don't throw that hard now, you better be Greg Maddux, otherwise you're not playing. You're not good enough. You better be spotting that ball up with precision if you're not throwing that hard. Because there's someone who's going to come in and throw an 87-mile slider. Like, good luck hitting that. Good damn luck. Like it's. No, they need to put some normal people next to some of these competitions. Like even the combine. Let's just go with college level. Let's just put someone next to a college athlete in the combine trying to get in the NFL. Let's see what that comparison looks like. It's going to be hilarious.
All right, so 40. What was your best 40?
Our 40 was a 4.43.
Oh, that's quick, man.
Ain't nothing like that, but 4.43.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, even then I had a great 40 coach, so we had like specialist coaches just for certain things.
You played for the Ravens?
Yeah.
Who else?
I played for Dallas, and I played for Buffalo. Yeah. I hated Buffalo.
Yeah.
Cold?
Yeah, the weather is bad, and then like the whole city is like an industrial city, and then no one's there now. So, because, like that's basically what it is. So it's like Vegas, like it's a gambling city, and then everyone left. And then that's what Buffalo is. So it's like you just all these buildings and warehouses, and then no one's there. And it's just all of that, the whole city.
Wow.
Yeah, it's different. And it's cold too, so.
How long were you in Dallas and when?
I was there right before Romo ended.
Okay.
Yeah, so. And then when
so it was like
Romo and Dez was,
Yeah. So the first Cowboy game I ever went to was 2006. I just got out of basic training, and I had to report to Fort Hood. Okay. My parents drove with me from here to Dallas and surprised me with taking me to a Cowboy game on my birthday.
Nice.
And like a couple days before, I had to report into Fort Hood. And that game ended up being the game that throughout the first half, the whole crowd was chanting Romo. And at the end of the half, Romo came in as the starter.
Wow.
That was the game I was at. And then he stayed the starter for the next however many years and broke my heart over and over and over again.
He's a heartbreaker. No.
He was so good. He smashed all their records, but just the postseason, they could never get it done.
And then they got Dak, who now is going after his records and just still, unfortunately, the same path.
The heartbreaker?
Heartbreaker after heartbreak.
Oh, man, he struggled with this.
Yeah.
Oh, that was tough to watch.
Something.
He would struggle, but then he'd come out and dominate. And it's like, okay, there we go. And then an important game would come along, and it's like, what just happened?
Yeah. He would, lead the league in touchdowns, and then he'd hit that. This past one, I was like, mind-numbing. Like, why? Every time.
Some people just, the postseason pressure, man.
Yeah, I know.
That's crazy.
Losing Diggs on the back end of their defense, that
was
hurt.
Tough, too.
That hurt them because he was the big threat back there. Yeah. All the pressure they had with their defensive line, Parsons, that guy's an animal. Yeah. and then having Diggs on the back end to be a ball hawk, like that's hard to.
Yeah,
It's hard to replace that dude.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, he
So,
catches everything.
Yeah.
He's a beast.
So there is one thing I did see that I just had a question about. You tried out for the Patriots.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So I want to know what can to me that's just sheer like I don't give a shit like what's going on with say because if I'm not mistaken your arm was broken but you still went out there like that's that's drive in my eyes. That's
Yeah, because they didn't like I shared that story. They didn't know that my arm was broken. I shared that, but I was like, yeah, fly me out. I'm ready to play. Like, so
that's awesome.
and I get out there and then they take me out on the field and they're like, your arm is broken, dude. Like, we're like, I know that, but I'm here to like, you guys are gonna sign me, right? And it didn't work out, but that's just what it is. Like, just. All I need is an opportunity, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
That to me is the definition of grind, hard work, and work ethic right there. The fact that you're like, I don't give a shit.
Or stupidity.
No, I mean, how much time at that point had you put in training to get to that level?
Yeah.
Like, I totally get it. Like, why? I'm not letting that slip away.
Yeah.
Like, that's how many years of hard work and training, man. Like.
A lot of years.
Like damn near your whole life at that point, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's like people like now they try to get overnight success, and you look back at your guys' own success. Like it took years to like reach this point.
Yep.
Like took years and years, and then people are on this path to like get rich quick. Like,
and it's worse than ever because of I think the technology, the devices we have, instant gratification, right? Like. It wasn't that long ago that I would go to Blockbuster and they wouldn't have the movie I wanted to rent. Yeah. And I might have to wait a whole nother week to watch that movie. Now my children can watch whatever they want, whenever they want, at one click, you know? Like, how much does that change our attitude towards gratification and being able to delay gratification and I mean, the whole discipline equals freedom thing is be disciplined and do the hard things that you know you need to do now to have the freedom to do what you want to do later. In a world that's telling you can have everything now, you almost got to fight against everything around you to still have that mentality and realize that it's going to pay off.
Yeah. Oh, that's probably the one thing that I'm trying to, as hard as possible, because like I said, my son's 5 years old. And right now he's at the stage that if he loses in anything, it's not good. He just the ultimate meltdown, or no, we tied. I'm like, nah, no, we didn't tie. Sorry, no, we didn't. Nice try, not gonna work. But like, cause I introduced him to like, I have a Nintendo Wii, so playing the Wii Sports on there, which at first he didn't want nothing to do with because he couldn't get it down. He finally got it down. The funny part is the second time we did the bowling game, I was telling him where to line up, but he was doing everything else. Kicked my ass. Scored like a 220 somehow. I'm like. What just happened? Like I just got dusted by like 50 pins. Like, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, you absolutely beat me. You earned it because like with my son, the approach I want to try to take with him is I am going to try to beat you every time until you start beating me. Yes, obviously when he's young and little, I'm not trying to destroy my son's hopes and dreams and everything. But as he gets older and bigger, it's going to be 100%. When you beat me, it's because you beat me. Yeah. And then slowly trying to start to distill into him like it's all about the small little short work. Like. Lately, thankfully, the past 3 weeks, I've been able to, on Sunday, I go for my runs. I run 6 days a week from Tuesday to Sunday. Sunday's kind of like my down day. I'll go for my larger part of my run, and then I'll come back with like 15 minutes left. In the past 3 weeks, I got him kind of on this kick. He's like, I want to go with you. So I'll come back. He'll throw his shorts on, throw his shoes on, and then he'll go out. And like at first, like I'm already 45 minutes into a run, so my shirt's off. Like I'm already hot. Like, and he start with his shirt on, and then all of a sudden he realizes like, I'm hot. I'm like, that's why I don't have a shirt on. So now when he goes out. He goes out in his shorts, no shirt, and he goes off and goes on the past 3 weeks. It's been a mile. Every time we've went out, he'll go out with me for a little bit mile jog, which would be like 14 minutes. Like one of the days he really wanted to stop a lot. It was like 22 minutes, but just getting him out. And then like even this morning, like the previous day, he's like, I want to work out with you tomorrow because you saw me lifting the previous day in the gym, and I've come to realize like being consistent is slowly bleeding off on him, and just want to keep nudging that along little by little. Like this morning, like I didn't have as much time, but like I got back from my run. I looked, I was like, all right, we're going to do some push-ups real quick. He hopped off the couch real quick, and he's trying to bust out some push-ups. I'm like, buddy, we just got to slowly get better, little by little, and just show him, like, you're not going to be amazing right off the bat, bud. Like, that's okay, but you're putting the time in.
Yeah.
That's what matters. You know, so when it comes down to this, putting the time in, you know.
That's why, like, on our 8th grade team, like, football team, when I look back at that team, I was probably, like, the 15th best on that team. And then, over time, it's just like, pass to you. Like, he just passed everybody at the end of, 4 years of doing the same thing over and over. But, yeah.
What positions were you playing in high school? Were you playing quarterback?
I was a quarterback.
Okay.
So I was a quarterback and a shortstop.
Okay.
Oh, so
And
you were stupidly athletic.
playing a point guard. But, so just growing up. And I was probably 15th best on our team.
Okay. And then all the way to setting the record for University of Hawaii for interceptions. Am I right on that? Or
Yeah, so I did. Yeah, that happened too.
okay.
So
that's a big deal, man.
Yeah,
I know you're like humble over here, but like that's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
and the clip I saw was actually doing it against UNLV.
Oh,
The clip I saw was you getting an interception
Oh, I
against
can remember,
UNLV.
A few UNO games I have seen, I think, have been against Hawaii, and it was Hawaii dusting us. So
yeah,
used to it.
yeah. Playing quarterback just helps with being a safety, and
Yeah.
I just played 2 years in college as a safety, and then played in the NFL. So
Yeah, you know what the quarterback's looking for.
yeah, that's like,
Yeah.
one time we actually played UNLV, and then I saw him look at the receiver out wide, and he gave him a look, and I was like, oh, I know that look.
Yeah.
And then I went from the middle of the field all the way to the sideline and intercepted the ball, just based off of that look.
Yeah.
And like people were like, how do you like? I was like, oh, I just knew he was going there. And they're like, what? And it's hard to understand like without knowing that, but it's like as a quarterback, you just like
No.
And then the receiver looked back and then like I'm like.
Yeah,
That's go that way and pick it off.
That's the difference in everything. Like even I'm thinking of baseball right now, being in the outfield, the outfielder that's on their toes, watching. Like I know, okay, it's an outside pitch. I'm taking a step towards right field. It's hit that way. I've got that extra step. I got that ball. Whereas I'm just standing there flat-footed and not paying attention to where the pitch is. Like that extra little detail of being aware of like.
Yeah.
Little things makes a huge difference, but you have to have taken, had the reps in to
even
look
as
for
a
that
shortstop. Even as a shortstop, like this hitter likes to like hit between me and the third baseman and all the time, and I just just shift a little bit.
Yeah.
Or he's just like, oh, he likes to hit about the middle, just shift a little.
Yeah.
And they do that all the time in the MLB, like, oh, just move a little.
Yeah,
like,
they're looking at the history of that person's entire
it's
career.
It's the same thing. Like I knew that, but other shortstops didn't know that, and it's the same thing in football. Like. I knew where the ball's gonna go, and this guy didn't know.
Yeah.
And you just heighten that awareness, like it's gonna happen.
Small little details.
Yeah.
Small little details
Yeah.
and everything.
My dad was big on that. All the little details. That's what pays off.
Yeah. Do you follow Jocko Willink at all?
I read his book.
Okay, so one of the clips of his that I just saw recently that he put out, actually it was a whole episode of his podcast, was about sabotage. He kind of reads the manual that the Allies put out for World War II on sabotage, and he kind of like talks about it and reverse engineers it. And he's like saying all the different things that you want to do to sabotage the invading forces properly, and it's all little things, like a bunch of little death from 1,000 little cuts, so they don't even know you're doing it. And he compares it to what people are doing to their own lives day in and day out by messing up a little thing here and there. Like you pay attention to those small little details. If you're not, you're sabotaging yourself. Like all the little details add up.
Absolutely.
I think on thinking of that, like going into this year, like I was like, I gotta put myself more out there, and then I showed up at this Panetta studio, for a free workshop.
Okay.
And then like with just him being up there, it was just a beacon of light. Like that's all I needed to see. Like so I came here, I sat in the front row, watched him do his presentation. I was like, that's what I needed. And then like with you guys with this podcast is the same thing. Like someone will see you guys in the tinning, like they're a young kid trying to get into the tint world.
Yep.
Like, that's what I needed.
No,
Same thing.
that was the big kind of push for this. Is the one thing that we are trying to grow with our industry, which it's hit every industry, is labor force. Like tinting a window is not that. Again, I say this in my eyes, it's not that difficult. I mean, I've been doing it my whole life, but it's something that can be easily picked up. It's a trade that isn't over. It's not crushing when it comes down to it, but it does come down to the small details of things. Yeah. It's definitely something that our dad pounded into us when it came to us being installers and him teaching us how to tint and do the trade itself. Is all the small things matter a lot, especially when it comes to quality of your install. And the quality is everything, because that's what's going to get you the customer to talk about you, word of mouth, pass around, get more business, and your customer service is absolutely everything. But those small little details, like for us to do this, like one of the things we are going to be doing, we already have in motion right now, is we're going to be standing up a Tint Academy for flat glass, because that's one thing our industry is hurting for right now is installers. Like every competition or event we go to, a lot of the big guys in our industry, they're headhunting. They're trying to find the installer that might be a little unhappy somewhere, that actually has the skills, and they're about to make an offer because they need installers. Yeah, that was our big push. I mean, having you on here, in my eyes, was connecting the dots for what it takes work ethic wise to get to a certain point in your life to where if you want to be successful, it doesn't matter what you're successful in, you have to put the work in. You have to go after it. You have to look at the small details of things. We push to the small details of things, and that all translate to me in every sort of business, in anything, in real estate, in every aspect. It's going to translate. What are you going to do a little bit extra, a little bit more to outwork or outproduce that person that is in the same industry? Not to say, oh, I'm going to beat you, because it's, if you have the mentality of, oh, I'm just doing this to try to beat you, you're wasting energy on something. You should just be trying to make yourself the best version of yourself, put the best product, put the best whatever it is you're doing out, and show this is what I can do.
And continuously keep finding that 1% you can improve on, right? So it's like right now we're hiring for an open apprenticeship, so it's like we want to make sure we put it out there that, like, look, you don't need to know anything about window tint. Like, if you have some experience, cool. But the things we do care about are the things we were just talking about with you. Do you have a strong work ethic? Do you understand it's going to take time? Do you have that growth mindset of improve 1% daily and look back 5 years from now and you're going to see the fruits of your labor? Like, that's what we're looking for. And if we can have the school aspect at our shop where we're going to have people come from all over the place to add the skills that we've learned in growing up in the industry and having 40 years of experience in our business, you know, that's also going to help our guys. Because I'm really big on train the trainer. Like, train somebody and train them in a way that they're going to help train the next person. And now everybody's helping each other. So our installers that we currently have right now will then be part of helping do classes, which is going to help make them better. And maybe we're going to have somebody that comes to a class that's stands out as being that up at 4 o'clock, ready to rock and roll, not complaining, not coming in late, really dedicated, understands the opportunity they have in front of them. Like, all right, well, you want an apprenticeship? Because we'll take that. I can teach you how to tint. Awesome. So it's like, that's a big reason why we're doing the podcast in the first place. It's like, how do we put out there, like, this is the culture we're building. We want to improve the industry. We'd like to help improve knowledge to the local community here in Vegas. And so have people on that are locals that have a good story to tell. Do you have anything to promote? So, like, we've talked a lot about us more than I feel like we should have. What do you have going on right now that you're trying to promote? Because I wanted to have you on to, like, expose you to our audience, man.
Like just how you guys shared about, doing a tint academy and whatnot. Tinting, like how you shared, is like not that hard. And real estate investing on what we do, building new houses, isn't that hard either. So it's like I can teach you a step-by-step process of how to do it, and it's actually kind of easy. I really don't do anything nowadays, but except just call somebody, like, how we doing over there? Oh, we're doing good, okay. And that's what I'm doing now, like teaching people. I have a mentorship program as far as new builds, real estate investing. And we got our first 10 students in January. And one of our kids is 19 years old, is a server at a restaurant, and he's getting into his first deal this week.
Awesome.
Nice.
And he's buying his first piece of land. And he's just this a regular kid, like
Hell yeah.
grew up with single mom, server. I taught him how to get funding, raise capital. He's like, okay, well, I'm ready. And that was in 1 week of our class. So we had our first session in mid-January, and we're buying our property this week.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
amazing, man.
That's awesome.
And then multiple students is doing projects too now. Like,
Okay.
and that's what we're doing.
That's amazing,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, that's the school thing for us. Like we've already had a lot of, I don't know, pride in having trained people from the ground up at the shop. But it's like, okay, how much more of that can we do? How many more people can we help? Because I know for me, having grown up learning this trade, like even when I was in the military, I never felt like I needed to stay in because this was my only opportunity. I knew I could get out and immediately go anywhere in the world, for the most part, where there's a tin industry, which most of the Western world, there's an opportunity, especially if it's somewhere that's hot. Like I can go to Australia, I can go to South America. There's options everywhere, all across the U.S., especially the southern half of the country. Anywhere, Texas, Florida, like California is insane.
No, Hawaii.
yeah.
No, Hawaii's got a great market for
Yeah.
film. There's a couple of the big dealers are in Hawaii, and they're
Actually, last year around this time, I had a tinner from Hawaii DM us, starting to see, maybe it was like, it might have been September-ish, but talking about they might be moving out here, and that like I've been following you guys, like that's where I want to work when I come out there. So I was like, well, just let me know, man. Like so, cool. The Ninth Island thing is real, man.
It's
like,
real.
I enjoy it,
It's
man.
real.
It's a cool. I've never been to Hawaii.
I've
I want to go.
on honeymoon. I went down.
Oh, okay.
I went to Maui, and that's where I kind of found out about the whole Ninth Island thing. Was when I went down there because are we from Vegas? Like Ninth Island. And I got the explanation of it more as we were there, and I was like, okay. And I was like, and then I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, that makes complete sense because I didn't really think about how many homes I've actually tinted out here where we'll do one home and then we've done the mom's home and then we end up doing the brothers, the sisters. And they're all within usually the same community too. And it's, like when they explained it, I'm like, that makes sense.
The jiu-jitsu gym I train at has a lot of Filipinos and Hawaiians, and the whole Walter Cascal is like the head guy. He's got his main gym, and then his black belts. I go to one of his black belts gyms, and then one of his other black belts is one of our lead installers now. But their other location on the north side of town is Ninth Island Jiu-Jitsu. Junebug is the black belt there, and they're like mostly Hawaiian, but they have everybody comes and trains there. But like it's just such a part of the city, man.
The Hawaiians, like, we just come from a warrior lineage, so they just want to fight. So in Hawaii, we just call it like just scrap. So like, if you're down to fight, like let's fight.
Well, I mean, I feel like I'm looking at BJ Penn right now.
Man,
I mean, one of the greatest of all time, man.
Yeah, we grew up in the same community, so BJ. And BJ was like down to fight anybody in our community, like growing up. So it's the same thing. Like, hey, you want to fight? Let's fight then. Like, but it's a little different now because kids got guns and whatnot. Yeah, even in Hawaii. But Hawaii people love to fight though.
I think it builds character, man. I'm all about getting your kids into jiu-jitsu or MMA or anything martial arts related. Just so I think it actually helps with bullying. Like I think it helps kids not be bullies. Like I think the kids that are being bullied should do it for confidence building, but the kids that are bullies, I think, need it even more for the humbling that comes with it. Because no matter how much of a badass you are, you go to a legitimate MMA school or jiu-jitsu academy, and you're gonna get humbled.
Because bullies actually bully because they're insecure of their own selves. So if they can find confidence through MMA or jiu-jitsu, like, then the bully is eliminated.
Well, I think we're running out of time.
I think that's around our point where we can wrap it up there. And one last thing I did want to ask, because I actually had a thought about this. We already asked, because we had someone on earlier. I'm gonna ask the same thing. Since it's Super Bowl week, who you got?
I got the Chiefs.
Ah, boo.
Let's go.
I think
Let's go.
Oh no, they're proven. So
It's everyone always says the same thing. I hope it's a good game. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
sure. At the same time, I hope the Chiefs blow them out. I could care less about a good game,
Yeah, yeah.
but it should be a good game no matter what. You know,
Yeah.
obviously the rematch when it comes down to it. But thank you for coming on, man.
Yeah,
I
thank you
really
guys for
I
having me.
appreciate it, man.
yeah, I begged him to come on here.
No,
so.
no, I'm glad we ran into each other. We had a good little conversation at
Yeah.
WealthCon, and like the fact that you showed interest, I was like, all right, cool,
Yeah.
man. Like,
Yeah,
hell
I'm like whoever got a podcast, like, because I was like, I gotta put myself out there. So like whoever got a podcast, like, I want to be on your show.
yeah.
So I've been on a few podcasts like this year. So I'm like,
It's
Yeah.
smart, man. I think
Yeah.
it's the future. Like,
Yep.
let people actually get to know you a little bit, and the people that are like that. Okay, I'm not trying to cuss, but the people that mess with you, like, are gonna they're gonna stick around, right? Like, and the people that don't, all right, cool. But,
Yeah.
like,
It is
there's
what it is.
8 billion people out there. Like,
it's funny because my boy was like looking at one of my stuff, and some guys like, shut the F up.
yeah.
On my
I mean, we've
comments, I was
cursed
like-
on here,
I was
but
like, yeah, we're doing it. We're doing it. Like, that's
No,
how we
no.
grow.
No, we've had plenty of we've cussed on here before. It's try to keep it as clean as
Yeah,
possible. But at the
yeah.
same time, I'm not restricting myself. I'm trying to
Yeah.
restrict anyone.
Yeah,
How they were going to
that's
talk
good.
naturally, because that's just how the world is when it comes down to it. You know, that's what it is. So.
Yeah, hey, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
No,
No,
thanks for
Great
coming on, man.
opportunity.
No, we appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
Everybody, you know how this works. Please follow along, subscribe. We're on all platforms: YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. We appreciate you following along on this journey as we keep growing, keep trying to grow ourselves, and keep it going.
And where can they find you?
On Instagram, the Mana Silva.
All right. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.